Okie doke. You see some people starting to pile in here for the 3:30 session here, live Q&A with trade ideas. Open forum, so please, fire some questions away for me. I always prefer it if you're creating the content for me to go over. As always, I will try to keep it as interesting as I can. We'll go through some charts, some scans, some stuff like that. But again, always better when you're chiming away here, asking the questions for us. So give it another few seconds here, see who's coming in, what we got going on. And we'll get moving with some items here. So, all right, I see the numbers coming up and down for people coming in and out. Again, fire some questions. There are people that were given the link to come here today at this time, troubleshoot some questions for you. But we'll start the way I seem to generally start these days. Dive in some Holly content here. All right, so let's see. We got 6 trades from her today. 5 long, 1 short, 1 stop hit. Some decent max profit on some of these here. So let's start with the stop hit and see what that looks like. So max profit on that's 0. Anybody that's been here before, I like to point out the max profit column. And find my drawing tool here, all right? And the reason I point out this max profit column is so we can find spread in between her conservative and moderate exits, or conservative moderate exits. Always throws me off that we change those still from risk on and risk off, but all the same. So that's the profit, the first column that I like to look at when I'm going through her alerts on the day. We come to the stop out here on MCHP, and let's take a look at what was going on, why it may or may not have been a good trade take. Long trade, chart that's been range bound for a while that we look at here, topped out here, topped out here, topped out here. Kind of similar things when it's topped out, sharp fall, and sharp fall again. So there's some notes to go off of right away. While it's a liquid stock, a little over 3 million today, it was trading just a third over what it's averaged over the last 10 days, give or take. And we see that Holly makes that entry at 10:36 a.m. Eastern time, 10:36 and 3 seconds to be precise. This candle here. And it looks like a breakout, and that's what she was looking for. Buyers and sellers have been fighting pretty hard at this point. You had the sellers bring it down, buyers bring it back up. The sellers bring it down, the buyers back it up. The sellers bring it down, they keep it down a little bit. Buyers are trying, look like they might get their shot. Holly took that shot right there, and that was it. It was never in the money again after that, and no looking back. The sellers just kind of had their way there. So as a trader, I'm looking at this here as resistance and resistance and resistance, all right? And I see Holly make that entry there, and it's certainly not an entry I want to be jumping on right away. We're already in a really big downtrend as it was, all right? And while it looks like we are near some support here, that doesn't give us any guarantee of a bounce whatsoever. And that's exactly what we found today, unfortunately. So just a poor entry, that's what the algo saw. That's what went on. And that's what we deal with as traders, That's why jumping right on any entry of any scan, whether it's Holly or anybody else, isn't always in our best interest, especially when we can see something like this in that setup, resistance, 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 resistance. Trying to get in on that resistance, and sometimes we time it well, sometimes we don't, and that was just one that wasn't timed well. So that's the loser from the book today. We take a look back here at that max profit column, though. Let's take a look. We've got a nice max profit there. We got a nice max profit there. Not too bad a one there. Obviously nothing there, and not anything to write home about there either. So a mixed bag on it. Let's head to the good XM. Micro, so that was Micro's last one. Quantalytics, International Inc. What are we looking at here? We're looking at breakout. So breakout didn't work, breakout did work. All right, one winner, one loser. And let's get into the nitty gritty of the chart here. And we can see that a bottoming pattern had formed here with this chart in the last couple days. We are in a downtrend that's right here, and Holly gets a signal that's here, okay? We can see that it was a gap up and a strong gap up, okay? We held it and we started to fade, and that fade goes right with what was happening in the indexes at that time, as a matter of fact. Okay. We take a look, liquid stock 1.5 mil shares traded today, doing 3 times its normal volume over a 10-day average for that relative volume ratio. And as we came down, we tested the low of the day here on this candle, and there was no test of that again, actually. So that was, we put in the low of the day there. Holly was looking for the breakout here on this candle, and she happens to find it a little early. Buyers and sellers become even here, so we lose some of that intraday volatility that was right there. Market right around this time comes into our side, and it was a no look back from there. So you had a lot of time to make that entry, decide if that's the right entry for you, matching up what we see. We can see, as traders, we had a gap, we tested it, we become even, buyers and sellers, and then we start to make that move up. So man and machine, always the theme here. And if we want to coordinate this with what we were seeing with the SPY, let's bring in a 15-minute chart of that SPY, matches up pretty decently and not too shabby. So we can see here, SPY gapped up, gives up that gap, we gap up, we start to give up that gap. All right. Buyers and sellers are even, buyers and sellers are even, a range, and a move up, and a move up. So it's a puzzle. We put the puzzle together with all the pieces, all right? And that's kind of how it goes. This chart matching very, very well with what the SPY was doing. You pay attention to the weighting of the SPY. It's a tech-heavy weighting. Nothing else. We had the buyers and sellers become even here, and we can call this a bull flag that's right here. So there's our pull. This is the flag moving in the opposite direction, and we explode higher off that afterwards. So pretty textbook on some of the things that were going on here in that alert, and we could say it was pretty textbook on the things that were going on here in this loser alert with MCHP. And this is what we do as traders, and this is how the software puts things into our favor or out of our favor. Again, open forum, so I'm creating the content here, but I do like it when you bring in some questions, so please fire away with those questions if you have any. All right, so that was a look at a winner, a loser. Let's look at something that had some spread that was in between and is still open, as a matter of fact. So get into GNLN. Breakout long. So we had breakout winner, breakout loser, breakout long as a winner. And based on the stop loss being pretty tight here, we see that if we were risking $100 based on stop loss, we got a pretty high share size going on there. All right, we get the entry here. We're never near that stop loss that's there, and a few penny spread that comes up, we start to give it up just below that entrance and move back up again. So, looking at this on a daily chart, there's not a whole lot of range in the last, we'll say, week or plus. Also running into some resistance here as well. So let's get a zoom in and a little better look here. And I don't think it's any coincidence that this is where we top out at. We run right into the 20-day SMA to start with. And then if we match the high today with the markup, horizontal line, that's going to come across all my charts in one moment. There we go. Boom. All right. We just kind of poked out above this resistance that had been going on here. So these are the things that we match up once again. You can see that here. I don't think it's any happy accident. That's where we stalled out at, and everybody's looking at kind of the same thing here. Again, liquid stock, so you're not worried about getting in and out. You get a lot of time up here to get out at this price. Not that we're exactly far off that at this point either. What are we in for? A moderate profit right now. So the moderate profit right now is only at $44. But all the same, we're in the profit. We're in the money with that. So, and that's kind of the in-between spreads. We'll take one more look here. See WTRH. Again, same kind of concept with this lower price stock. You're going to see it with a large share size basing on for $100 risk of this stop loss. All right. She gets right up into it with the money. All right. Not a bad alert right off the bat here. But she doesn't want to turn a winner into a loser. So on this pullback on that candle, she's going to get out profit save. profit save. You see that match up, okay? And we get a little more wiggle up before a release back down, all right? So again, matching with what we're seeing, I don't think it's any happy accident that we top off here and we're looking at resistance back here in this level. And again, when we draw support and resistance lines, there's no exact science to it. You're going to find a lot of times things kind of poke up and give you a little whoopsie, all right? Ran right into it though again. We can see, this price is kind of matching up on that level the whole way through. So, especially when you get these lower price stocks, those quarter prices, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75. Those are your psychological numbers on this versus when you get over, let's say $10, then you're looking at whole numbers and 50-cent numbers on that psychological process there. So that's kind of the rundown on Holly that's there. The good, the bad, and the ugly on a percent basis. She looked okay today. I don't always agree with how we display the numbers like that here. But all the same, green is green. Forget about aggressive. If anybody knows me well, they know that I cannot stand that aggressive. It means you're trading without a stop. And a not so polite way to say this, if you're going to trade without a stop, head to Vegas. Head to Reno, head to Atlantic City, open a DraftKings account. You're probably better off gambling than trading without a stop. So that's my 2 cents there on Holly. Pour myself some tea and I'm going to take a pause. Please fire in some questions. You're someone that just stumbled in here. You want to know, well, what are we going over? What is the software that I'm looking at? What is this charting? What is the scanning? We're trade ideas. You're someone that's on the test drive. You must have a question about trying to create a scan or some filters that we have or some other functions within Holly, anything like that, some back testing, optimizing. Please fire away the questions for me. Again, I'll dive into some market recap here as well. We can do that. We can dive into things that I was looking at today. All right, no questions coming in. We're a silent crowd today on me. Small and silent. All right, so let's look into some stuff that I've been looking at today. Here's a heartbreaker. I was in this yesterday, took a loss. I got in yesterday at, well, let's zoom back out again on a 15-minute chart. I got in on this candle, that break of 19. Thought we were going to make our move up, and we did for 2 seconds. We didn't. I told myself I was going to make it more of a day trading stop, so I kept it at the low of the day. Got stopped out down there. It's just the way life goes sometimes. Hindsight, at the beginning, it looks good because we kept making new lows. Made a new low again today, and then we rip up here again today. So this is on a symbols list that I curate for myself for alerts. I start with curating it by putting them on my light here, hearting the chart. I filter it down further to get onto this list that's here. I know you see automation. Don't concern yourself. It's not real automation. It's something that I'm working on, but nothing definitive on that. It's curated lists that they're quality setups that I'm looking at based on my trading plan, my trading style. So always fun to look back and see the ones that were losers and became winners the next day. Just the way that the tea leaves sometimes read and go. Some other stuff that I was looking at and interested, REKR. It's a tough trader. A lot of wicks, a lot of tails, a lot of volatility in the stock, but it can explode. So, something I'm definitely looking at, and it has big potentials. I like the daily pattern on it that's been going on. I like this. I like this. This is what I look for when I'm scanning in my scanning in the evening. You're welcome, Gus, but you got Chris, not Barry. There's only one Barry. That man is magic. I aspire to be half as good as Barry is. But let's see, does Starbucks look like, I think that's Starbucks, right? SBUX. Big double bottom. DDU. Well, let's bring it up for you. And I'm no CMT. I'm no expert, but, throw my 2 cents in what the chart looks like. SBUX. Starbucks. No, that doesn't look like a double bottom to me. And again, I'm no expert, so take this with a grain of salt. I don't give investment advice. But what do I see here? Let's zoom out. Let's get a bigger picture here. All right. And what I see here is we start to make lower highs right now. That's what I'm seeing. And we start to make lower lows. All right. Um, for this to be a double bottom, it's kind of a short term double bottom. I'm guessing you're looking at with there and there. Let's clean that up a little bit. So, yeah. So, take one tick back out. And so, I look at this, and that's why I wouldn't call it a double bottom. And again, in with support and resistance lines, we get our whoopsies. All right. So, I'm looking at this level pretty hard right now, right there. Let's put a horizontal line there, and we poke below it. We poke below it. So these could be whoopsies, and perhaps we're looking at a triple bottom, maybe, but I wouldn't call it a double bottom. And you're gonna have to you're gonna have to get the Nasdaq on your side. All right, without the Nasdaq on your side, this ain't going nowhere. This trades with the indexes for sure, uh, unless you got earnings coming up or anything like that. Earnings date October 28th, so we're still a bit off earnings. That's what we're reporting for earnings from FactSet, anyways. The volume, there's nothing to write home about the volume whatsoever. These bigger volume days are going to be bigger volume days in the indexes. So you're really, really index dependent on this whole thing going on. Let's pull up a chart of the Qs where we can kind of see this mirrored, I bet. Whoops. Triple Q, not double Q. And no happy accent. That line coincides with that right there. So you're going to need the Qs to really get going for you on that one there, Gus. That's what I would say. Manage your risk. You're in at 110. What was the price that's there? Have your plan. Put your stop in, whatever you've decided your stop is. You're in the money already. Protect your protect your profit. You've got all the moving averages moving down on this. As we zoom in more, you got the 20 is oppressing it right here. 20 is keeping down that price action. 50 is trying to move down to that 20, and this is an 8 EMA, so you have no momentum on your side whatsoever. And you can see here on the short-term momentum, once this broke below this here, we touched 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 again, and the price just keeps getting suppressed by that momentum every time it tries to poke its head back out. So that's my 2 cents on Starbucks. You're stuck in this. You're stuck in the slop of what the indexes are doing right now. Gus, hey Chris, download, test it out, but looks like it's been removed from the site. Should I not be using that? No, you can use it, Dan. Here's the problem with that. I banged on it all weekend long, and everything looked great. And when we loaded it on Monday, for some reason, the background stuff and the color, this stuff here was all set to black. So every chart in it, for whatever reason, had no bars on it. So let me bring up a new chart and I'll show you exactly what happened. And it was happening to a bunch of users for whatever reason. So charts all looked like this for me when I loaded up Monday morning after having no issues whatsoever on the whole weekend. And so that's what I got. And hold on, let's get the background color, the right color. So I had my background color was like that. And gradient color. See if I can make this. I'm trying to duplicate what it looked like for me. All right. Well, I'm not giving you a good example. There were no bars here essentially for me. So, anyways, you're good to go, Dan. Dan 99 we'll go with. Um, you're fine with that. Play around, bang on it. If you didn't have any issues, you didn't have any issues. Dan and YYC. Any recommendation on? No worries, Gus. And listen, I appreciate you calling Barry. That's about as high a compliment as anybody could pay. A number of windows that can be open at a given time. I notice it doesn't depend on my system resource TI. It's not even. it's not just the number of windows, it's what type of windows. So for example, if you got a bunch of topless windows and they're very highly populated, every 30 seconds those windows are coming back and forth from our servers with all that data to you. So let's say you got 5, 6, 7 top lists, and each one of them's got 100 symbols that are coming through those. You're talking 800, 900 symbols coming back and forth from our servers with all that data in one shot. So that's what you're looking at. If you got alert windows, and those alert windows are just firing nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. Again, you have all that data that's coming back and forth from the servers or coming out from the servers to you to make those alerts. So, um, that's really what it's going to more depend on is the type of windows and some of the setup of them. The next step with your top list is, I don't know what they default to be, but if you right click and you come to time frame and you go to set record count, this is how many stocks can come through the window at once. Okay. So the max you could set it to is 1,000, but let's say you had a top list that only had 100 stocks that are going to come through it, and you have 5 of them like that, but you set all 5 of those to a max count of 1,000. The top list is looking for 1,000 stocks no matter what. So now you have 500 stocks that are coming through 5 different windows that the data has to be returned back and forth on every one of those. And then those windows, even though there's only 100 stocks that meet the criteria, those windows are still trying to find 1,000 stocks for you. So those are some of the things that happen with all of that. So you know you're gonna have to play around with it a little bit. I'd recommend sometimes you got to make multiple layouts. Um, so for example, if you have scans that are more pre-market or post-market, don't run them during market hours. Create a separate layout for those to run those during those specific hours. If you have a scan that is only work, let's say you have a set of scans that you're only looking at from, let's say, the open at 9:30 till 11 o'clock in the morning. And when I give times, I'm going to give Eastern time since I'm on the East Coast. Um, close those scans afterwards if you can do that, things like that. So continue to look at Starbucks there, Gus, and of course it's going to bounce with the indexes here. This is a SPY chart, but it's tech heavy as well, so it's going to trade with this as well. And you can see how very similar this is. So same thing. So as we start to curl up here, you're going to curl up too, it looks like. So again, just protect that profit. That's all I can say is you're in at a decent price off this bounce. Anybody's prediction is anybody's prediction. And the other thing is there's no accounting for Starbucks is going to come out with some news tomorrow saying that we were voted the greatest coffee in the world and undisputed or something, and they pop on that news or something. So just protect that money that you already got there, Gus. So it's kind of my 2 cents on a layout there, Dan. You've been in here for quite a few of these sessions, and you can see sometimes I'm clicking through and my charts are slow to load. Now I'm running the streaming software that's coming out to you. I'm running Trader Workstation. I have scans that I'm running for testing things in the background. So there's a little more going on here than what you see for my normal layout right now. I'm running our software where people come in to chats and emails and all that stuff like that. So I'm running a lot of stuff on a 5-year-old Dell or a 4.5-year-old Dell. And, I don't have much of a delay that's going on right now. Like that. So you're going to have to play with that a little bit there for you. And troubleshoot in the sense of what seems to slow you down, what seems to not slow you down. I'm also on a developmental version, so there's other stuff that I have going on that's not quite out there yet. Dum, 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 dum. Good, cool, gotcha. Bob made an alert and would like to create another with some difference, especially in the price of stock. Could you show how? But more importantly, will that ruin the original alert? Well, here's what you do, Bob. Keep the original alert, and then on that window, right click, duplicate into wherever you want to duplicate it, free floating window if you want. All right. And so now you've got the original alert. Okay. And then I don't know how that just happened. Grab the wrong window. Sorry. I'm going to redock this. All right, so that duplicated into another screen for me, but then you've got a duplication here. So leave the original alert, and now you can right click, configure, and come in here and start messing around, Bob. Whatever you want to do, search, and you want to add some volume metrics, you got to type it right, of course. There's your volume. Let's say you want a range. You bring up range. All the stuff that we got with range. You want what's something, RSI. You want to work with some RSI. There's our RSI stuff. And that's what I would point you to, Bob. If you've got something specific in mind, we could take a look what we got. I noticed it has the custom formula editor, and for software 1.4 is that. That's great. Whatever, make it work much easier. Geez, you got to something that I haven't done. Where under what formula editor? See, and I'm on. I see things you guys don't see. So tools. Oh, formula editor. Look at that. Beautiful. Interesting. What we got going on? Oh, so has all my customs in here. And in case anybody's wondering, no, I don't have any magic customs in here. Most of these are customs from when someone gave me a scan that I had to troubleshoot, and I don't even know what half of them do, to be honest. So nothing special. I don't do much in the custom world. So yeah, we're always trying to make things a little better, a little more user interface usability there. So, and work even when minimized. Should I close top list when not in use? Yes, close the top list when they're not in use, because just because you minimize something, it's still drawing those resources. So even if you minimize it, you're still getting those resources drawn. And like I said, we try to do most of the lifting on our side, but when you have massive amounts of data going back and forth, it's the highway can only allow for so many cars on each lane. Dan, yeah, got to you, Gus. Glad, yeah, Gus, you and me both every day learning something new. Just know when Thinkorswim will be connected. Real, not soon enough. That's all I could say as far as Thinkorswim goes. I'd love to switch back to Thinkorswim. It's just a personal preference. I prefer them. And I can say the things I don't like about Thinkorswim. I can say the things I like about Trader Workstation. I just like Thinkorswim better personally. I was the one that did a lot of the testing on it. But the bottom line is TD Ameritrade's API data is garbage. It took us forever for them to open that API for us in the way that it needs to be open for us to make the connection. It's not just, hey, can we plug into your API? Hey, sure, no problem. Let's expose all this data to you. It doesn't work that way. And when we got in there and we said, hey, your API isn't looking so good, they said, hey, we don't really care. Your problem, not ours. We opened it for you. Now, eventually they'll work with us in some ways, but we got to, narrow some stuff down and whatever else. The E-Trade link, there's still some things that are being hammered out for the E-Trade link to work with strategies off the open, because E-Trade's API can't handle strategies off the open still. So we're writing custom code for E-Trade, even though we don't work for E-Trade. And so that's where the hang up is now, is that, E-Trade. But once we start to get working on TD Ameritrade again, we've got a good head start on it. So hopefully it won't be long once it gets there. But again, the devs will never tell us when that's going on. So that's the best I can offer you, Real. It exists, but it's buggy. That's all there is to it. So, wow. Once it learns platform, it is loaded with yes. Yeah, Tom, this, there's no one way to use this either. There's an infinite amount of scans that can be created. So, that's why I started doing this live 330 thing, this live 330 here. I'm hoping to get more people that are coming in here. Like, for example, now I see 15 people in here. I don't know how many people are really here or not. We do one at noon. Barry runs all day long, but he's more of a trading themed. But, there's a lot to learn here, and I'm trying to do my best as a support member here to get as much live content and troubleshooting as we can. We just can't do one-on-ones with everybody all day. There's just no possible way to do that. It's not a sustainable business model to do that. So, no links with Fidelity, just external linking there, Kimby. Let me know if you're familiar with external linking. I can kind of go over that for you. I would love if we had a Fidelity one, because that was who I originally used. And I only left Fidelity because I had an argument with them, and they peed me off. So, but I liked Fidelity. I've got nothing bad against Fidelity other than I got in an argument with someone from them, and I said that's fine. I'll go to no commissions, think or swim, since you guys A want to still charge commissions, and B you're gonna treat me like this. So that was that. But let me know if you're familiar with the external linking. If not, I can at least show you how that goes and how it will apply, and I can show you a video for external linking as well. Dan, I'm glad you think so about the support and offerings. I've been told recently, as far as yesterday and today, how we're terrible, and that Windows XP is more user friendly than we are. Which also I thought Windows XP was one of their better windows, but all the same, I literally had someone cursing me out yesterday and today. So and so did other team members here, and it just is what it is. You can't be everything to everybody, but you know, certainly gonna try. Thank you, really appreciate that, Dan. You tried external linking. Are you trying the external linking with Active Trader Pro, Kimby? And does have a dark theme other than the charts? Yes, Tom. Yes and no. So, team member here, Steffi, she created a user's guide and came up with a way for users that are using the app, the Windows app, to do a dark theme. So let's show you how this goes. So, all right, Kimby, give me let me bring up this whole dark theme part, and then I'm gonna walk you through some stuff to see how we can get you fixed up there. So, oh, here's the other big thing, Kimby. You have to run both programs in administrator mode. So when you got the icon, how am I gonna do this? Show you. So look, when you have your trade ideas icon, and when you have your trader works trader active trader pro icon, I don't have one right now because I don't have used them in so long, but right click, run as administrator. You have to run both programs as administrator to make that link. That might be where you're getting hung up there. Let me know if you've been doing that or not, because if you haven't, that's probably the key to fixing you up. Oops, wrong one. So back to dark theme here. If you come to our education page, all right, so trade-ideas.com/education. All right. Come to, this is what the top looks like. Come to user guide, click user guide. All right. And got the whole thing here. Scroll down if you want. You click this to get down there, whatever works for you. Full table of contents, so on and so forth. All right. If you click full table of contents, or you go anywhere into the guide, you've got a search function here. All right. Whatever you want to know about trade ideas, I promise you, is in here. The attention to detail on this is second to none. So we go dark, just type it, chart window, properties, dark theme, dark theme. There we go. And in here is a tutorial that's going to go over how to use Windows to make the whole program a dark theme for you. So it's a workaround. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that here. All right. And that's just the dark theme part of that. All right. Use this user guide. It is unbelievable. All right. And it'll give you an idea of just how really big Trade Ideas is. I mean, look at this table of contents as I scroll up and down. All right. She left nothing out. We update things all the time. So you might come across something for a short period of time that it's out of date, but it will not be out of date for long. All right. She's constantly on it. She's constantly working on it. She's constantly updating it. She just released it the other day, even for us to look at. And I'm still blown away by it a few days after going through it. It is an unbelievable guide that she did. I just can't praise it enough. You want the full guide, copy link address, paste, boom, full guide for everybody. All right. Go through it, hit it up, hammer it, hammer away at that thing. All right, there we go. Dock that back in, get out of the way. So I see, yeah, you don't think you've been doing that. Yeah, so that's going to be I think that's going to be your answer there, Kimby. I think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be your answer, because as far as the rest of the linking go, there's no tools, external linking. I don't think there's a rule there. So edit link. Does fidelity? No, I don't see fidelity. Fidelity. No, nothing there. So you're good to go as far as that goes, as far as fidelity. That should get you there. And I'll share this video with you. Where video are you? Now this video is going to do linking to Thinkorswim actually, which is one of the more pain in the neck ones to link with. However, it applies to every type of linking that we do externally. All right, so you check out that video. And that's going to cover your external linking. Like I said, Thinkorswim is one of the tougher ones that we link to. That video will cover you 110%. I've used Thinkorswim for years. I used Trader Pro for a while. I've used Trader Workstation now for a while. I've never had an issue with linking whatsoever. Not as a user, not as an employee of Trade Ideas. So that's kind of that. And this is the kind of content I like. I appreciate the questions coming in. I appreciate the interactions here. It keeps it moving. We're all learning together. Really, really good stuff. So again, fire away some questions. If not, I'll dive back into some other content. I'll make stuff up as we go along. Here's something I can tease. So everybody, are we all aware of the Trade Idea Strength Alerts? If you are not aware of the Trade Idea Strength Alerts, it's a cheap email. It's a cheap email product that we've created. Cheap as in price, not cheap as in quality. And essentially, Michael Noss created this scan using what we call our Market Explorer that has some data points that don't exist actually within the system, but somehow they've created it. I don't really know all the magic behind it, but essentially he was able to create a scan that just can't be done normally with Trade Ideas. And it was basically meant for swing trading alerts. The way the algorithm tested best is for a buy on a Monday and hold it to the next Monday. So if we come to a channel bar, docked window, let's get a docked channel bar here. All right, so did not do what I wanted it to do. New dock channel bar. There we go. So the TI strength alerts for anybody that's looking for how do I use Trade Ideas for swing trading? Great way to use it for swing trading right there. Just want to fit this a little better for the screen. Got your strength alerts right here. If we click that, we're going to get the channel. And it's also going to have this. It's popped up on another screen, but the welcome screen. And this has a write-up about the stocks that are being featured in it. Okay. Well, there's more than just these stocks that come through the scan every day. Or excuse me, every week. And so Michael writes these up. He's a CMT, goes through it all right, gives you a little synopsis on each one of those. However, that scan is going to be available for you all very, very shortly. All right. It's not pretty. It doesn't have the same interface. And this is why, there's a lot of code that got written into this, and you have a score of each one of these stocks and it constantly updates. This is what it looks like. All right. But this is going to be coming in for you all. And you're going to have access to this very soon, to the strength alerts, to the actual window that they come from. You get your rating and so on and so forth, updates real time. And, Michael, put a lot into this. He's been working really, really hard on this for a long time. And so this and a few other scans will be coming out very shortly. Once we finish the work we have to do server side, you'll all be able to start to load these things. So this is some stuff that's coming on the way. All right. And if you haven't checked out the Strength Alerts channel, please, please, please do. Some gems come through there. Nothing's guaranteed. It's a tough market, very choppy, things of that nature. But you might find a few things that you like in here. That's for sure. And I'm looking at some stuff that I've been watching for a while coming through here. So it kind of feels nice like that. So that's all on the way. All right. Let's get rid of that, though. Let's get rid of that. What is the linking do? So what does the linking do? This is what the linking does. This is my time and sales window from Trader Workstation with IB. Okay. And every time I click on a stock here, it loads here. All right. Now, if this wasn't IB and it was some other platform, and if I wanted to have their charts up instead of mine, I could have their charts all changing as I click on these here. And I could have my order entry box or tool here, and I'd still have to share size and execute the order through that platform. So if it was Active Trader Pro, Thinkorswim, um, I'm not sure, list somebody else. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head that's really a broker worth using. But as long as they have an app interface like this, it's a copy paste program that we created to get into other people's systems essentially. So as I click code there into my trader workstation, time and sales, that's what the linking does. On the AI strategy trades, I'm trying to understand why entry and exits are the same on conservative moderate mode, but the closed profits are different. This is why. So the entry is always going to be the same no matter what. Conservative means she has a whole set of rules that she's obeying for exiting. So you have a timed exit, you have a profit save, you have a reduced risk, a stop, and a profit target, all on conservative modes. All right. Any one of those exits could happen. On moderate, all you have is the entry, the stop, and an exit at the end of the day, a sell on close order for the end of the day. Those are the only three things that you're going to find on the moderate. Okay. And that's the big difference. So they'll always enter at the same price, same time. But the exit will depend on her rule set. So you're always going to see what the conservative exit is, and you're always going to see what the moderate exit I guess you can call it is, but the moderate exit's only going to exit for two reasons. Either the stop got hit or it was a sell on close order at the end of the day. That's it on the moderate. Aggressive means trading with no stop. And again, I really, really hate that we show that, but it's not up to me. I was told we were going to take it away over half a year ago, and I know people are going to see this, a lot of times they're going to see, oh, well, aggressives at 9%, conservatives only at 8%. Okay, well, do you really want to trade without a stop? By all means, have at it. But, I did that for a while. It didn't work out well for me. I can promise it won't work out well for you either. But that's what it really means. So, and if you want to know, profit save is essentially a trailing stop. Timed exit, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. On moderate, it will not exit on a profit hit, profit target if it has a profit target. Some have a profit target, some don't have a profit target for the conservative exits. Some are only timed exits. And a reduced risk, that's another conservative exit. That just means that the trade wasn't working. We're not at the stop, but we're also not sticking around for the stop because it doesn't look like it's going to work. So we're exiting it. Is there a way to make the info larger? Which info are we talking about? Let me know, Blake, if that covered what you were asking. And Tom, what info are you referencing? I can make any of this larger. I mean, I can, expand windows. I have limited screen space is my thing, so I'm trying to cram in a bunch of stuff here, but we can always expand anything we want. And sorry, just catching up. Andy apparently is working on chat and just checking that all out. Text and price. No, not really. Let me see. Tools, options, general, fonts. All right, you can change this here. I don't know exactly what it's going to do. Font size is 8. Font size 18. Let's see what happens. Save. Woof. That is going to mess some stuff up here. There you go. We got it bigger. So yes, Tom. Options. I'm going to go back to 8. Save. Hopefully that resizes back the way I need it to. There we go. Perfect. All right. So that answers your question, I hope, Tom. Let me know if not. How do you start manning this type of window where everything is contained in one pane versus standard where everything is floating? Oh, great question. So that's our docking feature. You got to be on version 5.5, whatever we're at. I think 5.532 is the current one that's out for you, 5.5.41, will be out shortly for you. I believe it's being worked on today, probably delivered later today or tomorrow, but no promises. But essentially, this is what you do. So let's take a chart window. All right, a new chart window that's right here. Okay, I just brought up a new chart window. It's free floating, and what I do is I right click it and I go to duplicate in a new doc. All these docs where it says pro doc, new, these are docs that already exist that I created. Those are these docs here, this doc, and this doc, and this doc, and there's other docs on other pages. So we've got a free floating chart window. We right click, we duplicate into a new doc window. Okay, so that duplicated into a doc window over on this page here. All right, we're just going to use the chart window over and over again. But if we had other docked windows, other windows that we want docked, we're going to continue to do the same thing. So right click, and now that's the last doc that I created here. So we don't want it in a new doc window. We want it in here. All right. And so now, whoops, wrong one. Not there. We want it, bear with me. We don't want Outlook. Let's get a new chart. New chart window. All right. So this one we duplicated in here. I pulled the tab. Gonna duplicate this one into there. Sorry, it's the bottom one, I believe. There we go. All right. So now we've got these both in this window. All right. Now they're both free floating in the window. Let's get one more. Right click. Now we put them all in here. We can do this with anything. Now we can grab it here and we can see this tool starts to come up and wants to size it into here accordingly. Do we want it down below? We want it off to the side. You want it up top. All right. You pick and choose how you want. So there we go. If we want them stacked on top of each other like this, and then I could take it further and I could say, well, we want to dock this one like this. And this window here, side by side. All right. And now they're all docked together. And as we move it, we can see it's all docked together. All right. There's one other trick that you can do. I have it set default to open into free windows. Okay. You can go to Tools, Options, Layouts, and you can open in dock windows. So every new window you open will open into the last docked window you created, or you can just have it. You can just have it open into a free floating window. I prefer the free floating, just a personal preference. That's how I roll with it. I'm not sure if you're going by AL or AI, but let me know if that answers your questions. And then on top of that, and I see, Blake, your other questions coming in, I will get to you momentarily. I'm going to drop some windows here about docking. So here we go. Sorry, just getting these videos for you. There's two different videos. There's the standard video that Brad did when docking was first coming out. So that's that video. And then I did a video on it as well that shows how I use it to dock and how I use multiple docks and how it fits into what I'm doing with my layout. All right, so there's two videos on docking. Get at those. All right, Blake, I think wouldn't the exits on moderate be different then? Maybe I'm missing something. It appears they were all the same exits today. Yes, somehow profits are different. No, they're not all the same. Here we go. Where we go? Where's my exit prices? So here, every one of these has an exit price now here. All right, and we click on to be conservative, we can see the exit prices coincide with these shaded areas here. All right. So XM was a timed exit. All right. That exited up here for the end of the day. Now that might have coincided with moderate, but that's just a happy accident. Profit save, SGH, exited way back here. All right. And we can see now on the chart, it's going to give you a moderate exit. That's what the chart's going to tell you. But this shaded area shows you the conservative exit there. All right. Was this an end of the day hold? So that held the end of the day anyways. Most of them will exit at 345. I think as the timed exits on moderate, they will exit at 355. So moderate will be at 355, conservative will be at 345. Profit save here. Once again, we can see that the exit price is going to coincide with the shaded area here. Exit price 31. All right. And we can see that today it closed at 30 at the end of the day. So, or 29-ish, give or take. Take a look what the candle officially says. Close was 29. All right. So, reduce risk. Again, we can see it's going to coincide with the shaded area for that. So shaded area back here. And we can see how, the dark shaded area versus this lighter shaded area, indicating that wasn't AI trade, but it exited at that point. So hopefully that's a little clearer for you there, Blake. Close that down. Hopefully that all makes sense. And 20 past the hour here. I go to about 4:30. If you guys keep some questions coming, I'll stick around a couple of extra minutes here. Sorry, just making a chat here. All right, with that said, maybe let's dive in. There's not a lot going on in the indexes to really cover. We're just chop, 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 chop. We're very range bound. We get an up day, the bulls think they've got it. We get a down day, the bears think they got it. All that really matters is the price. The price is chop. So bring in some questions, but I'll bring up a few index charts. And again, there's really not much to cover in this at the moment. You got one camp that's bearish, you got one camp that's bullish, and then you got the camp that says, just show me the price. I don't really care. I'm in the just show me the price stuff. But here we are. There was all-time highs. That's our recent lows. So we moved down, we moved up, we moved down, we moved up. We're fading. A lot of arguments could be made. You can see what you want to see. One camp could say this is a bull flag possibly forming, where you got an up day. Up days, the gap up. Now price moves against it, and possibly a gap up move like that. Your guess is as good as mine. You got the bear camp that says, this is a really significant pivot line. We've remained below it now for over a week. Price action is that way, according to the bears. The bears could also argue, this 20 SMA is really putting pressure on this. All right. The bulls could argue, well, we're consolidating here, and the 8 EMA is going to push us back up. So make all kinds of arguments. The beautiful thing is, who really cares? Because all that matters is what the price is at the end of the day. CDNA, we'll take a look at that, and then we'll dive back into something else. And then I see that question about back testing coming in. Let me get there too. CDNA, big downtrend, trying to make a move up. Huge move from last year. That's a tough one. Got these updates here. No volume. When I say no volume, I mean 400,000 shares traded. It's not liquid or anything like that, but it's doing kind of its normal volume, just hanging around here. Your line in the sand. Again, this stuff isn't exact science here, but this line is pretty. That $60 line is really significant. I wouldn't go chasing it here after these days up. I'd need to see it consolidate and move up. And also, this is no happy accident that the price is running into this level right here whatsoever. So Mike C, you're too kind as always. Too kind as always. So that's your significant level there. You're running into that 50-day moving average there. That's the bearish side. Your bullish side is the fact, if we zoom in, you've got the 8 EMA crossing the 20 SMA. You had some beautiful consolidation. So you had a nice move up, consolidation. Now you're making a nice move up again. So if you caught any of that, great, manage your risk. If not, this is a big, big level here. All right. Range bound, very range bound right now. That's what I'm seeing there on CDNA. No edge. So if you know something as part of a trading plan that you got, just follow that plan. When you're doing back testing, how do you decide on stops to put in? And you put in stops first before optimizing? Nope. When I first start to optimize, I leave everything wide, wide, wide open. Then I start to play with timed exits afterwards. I'll probably bring it into, let's say, a 30-minute hold I'll start with and start to move it out in 5-minute increments to see what happens on back testing. If I'm really, really diving down, I could probably do, those 5-minute increments, all the way up to a few hours of a hold. So it's very, 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 very tedious stuff. That's just kind of what I do. Um, Sorry, getting some data coming in and some stuff that I was testing, and looks like another awful day for some testing stuff. Oh well, it happens. But that's kind of how I go with the optimizing in it. Just a personal preference. I don't put any other stop in. Then I'll start with a profit target before I start with a stop loss. Start with, let's say, a 3% target. I'll move that up and see what happens. Then I'll move it down and see what happens, and just keep going at it and at it and at it. I don't have any other reason or logic behind it. And if someone has something else to chime in that they know about in back testing, by all means. I'm not a back testing wizard, but I've certainly back tested a lot of stuff. So that's my 2 cents there, Dan. Off topic, is there any way of excluding the OTCs that have been removed from trading as of appearing in my scanner window? OTCs that have been removed from trading. I'm not sure what you mean by removed from trading, but we can exclude exchanges. So if we right click any scan, top list or alert window, we go to configure and we go to exchanges, just uncheck the exchanges you don't want to see. All right. So, uncheck OTCs and pinks and you won't see them anymore. And you can take it a step further and go to symbols list. You can look at all the ones that we've created in here. Got a lot of stuff in here. All the stuff that's in here, all these things that we've created, all these sector ETFs, all the stuff like that. Take it down. These ETFs here, sectors, all this stuff in here, all those things like that. So you got all those to exclude, and then you can create your own symbols list too. And that's not off topic at all. There is no such thing as off topic in here, as long as we're talking about trading in the software. You can come to tools, symbols list, create new list, and you can create a list of symbols you don't want to see. After you've done that, let's get rid of all this. After you've done that, you come back to configure. You come to symbols list, and the symbols list you've created are going to be in here. Okay, so like you can see these sector analysis personal, global tracker personal, global watcher personal, test list personal, automation list personal, SPAC list personal. These are personal lists that I created for me. You click on them, then you'll see them populate over here, and you can go exclude the following list, and you put a check mark in the ones you want to exclude, and they'll all be excluded. So hope that helps there, Toronto. Back Dan 99. Thanks. Another back testing. Is there a maximum number of trades it will make, or will it always trade when something it'll trade when something matches the criteria? The maximum you're going to get is, I think, 100 trades per day. Maxing you out at, right now, because we're back testing to 65 days because of the way market holidays fell. So 6,500 trades would be the maximum amount of trades that's going to come through the back tester for you. That's a lot of trades. So that's how that would go. So, like, for example, let's see if I can get something to do this. New alert window. So I took a new alert window and was search. We're just going to throw a bunch of stuff in here just for fun to get this thing really cooking. Get rid of all these Windows specific filters. Hide unused, hide unused, hide unused. Get rid of you, get rid of you. And okay, and okay. And so this thing's going to throw out 1 million alerts. And go and back test. And I'm just doing this for fun to see if I can show it. Timed exit. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Advanced. Let's open it all the way up. 65 days, simulate buy, and let's just see what happens. Hopefully this won't take that long. Looks like it's moving pretty quickly for us. Yeah, it's going to be based on that 100 limit. So let's see, 65 days at 100, it would be 6,500 alerts right now. And sorry, 6,300 alerts is the maximum regardless of the days. Now, I bet there's more alerts that would have come through if I'll let it. But the way I'm going to know that that happens, if we go to optimization tab and we go to time of day, it only goes to 9:30. Look at that. So I can't even optimize it by time right now because there's too many alerts coming through to optimize it like that. But now watch this. We're going to cut some stuff down. Let's go to configure. Selected alerts. Let's get rid of a whole bunch of this stuff and let's just throw a few filters in there for fun. Okay, and just let's see what happens when I do that, if that does anything here to get that 6,300 number down. And we're still cooking along pretty good. And again, it's 4:30. I'll stick around for a couple of minutes if there's questions. Not too long because I do have to bust out of here. But I want to make sure people get their questions answered if they've got a burning question here. So look, that came down to 652 trades just by throwing a few things in there like that. So that's how it works. That's the short and skinny of that. All right, so I think I'm caught up on questions, right? Had that happen? This trade was 10-10. Yep, that was exactly what the case was. And it's funny that you mentioned that. When I started working on a scan a month ago, maybe or so, I ran into the same thing. I'd never tested something that had that many alerts come through because I was starting so raw on the scan. And I had a bunch of alerts selected on it, trying to figure out which alert was going to be the one that seemed to work the best for the scan. I'm in the camp that every alert window should just really have one alert in it selected. You want multiple alerts, make multiple alert windows and then stick them in a multi-window. What I mean by that is we right click and we come to configure and we go to the selected alerts. I don't think you should have more than one of these selected, max 2. That's a personal opinion. You do whatever you want, free country. You run the software how you see fit. The problem is though, a new high and a new low aren't going to look for the same things with these filters. So, you've got filters that are trying to show bullish. Well, unless you're trying to make a pullback alert on the new low, then that has a logic and reason there. But generally, when people are looking at new lows, they're looking at stocks that are falling. So it's, you don't want the alerts fighting with each other. The alerts will work independent. This alert doesn't need this alert to do anything. They work independent. This alert will only trigger though if this event is happening, this 5-minute high is happening, and all these filters are satisfied at the same time. So that's how it works. With the alert, what are the ways you can be notified? Well, it's going to pop into your window here. I mean, you can have a sound alert. You know what I mean? I don't use any sound in trade ideas personally. I don't need it. I don't want to hear anything. I like to listen to music if I can. But those are the alerts. It's going to populate here. I mean, another thing you can do, and I don't recommend this if you have a very active window, but you go to right click, go to properties, go to actions, and whoops, can't do it here in a docked window. Let me get an undocked alert window. Let's do this. Right click, duplicate and free floating window. So if we right click, it's got to be a free floating alert window. Right click, properties, actions, and you see this show alert window. If you have that checked, anytime an alert comes in the window, this alert window is going to steal the focus from everything. It's going to go boom right on top. So you're in the middle of typing something, forget about it. This alert window is stealing the focus of it. So that's that. No, I hope that answers your question, Tom. The other thing that I can say is, right click, properties, actions, and if you want sound, check play sound, click sound setup, and then as long as you're in the Windows app version, you go text to speech, meaning it'll speak them out, or you can have these choices here, or you can go with the custom, use custom sound, and select sound from your list of sounds, whatever you got for custom that's through Windows. But the sound gets pulled through Windows. Actually, it's not within our system. We cheat and use Windows. So that's how that goes. hopefully that's answering what you wanted there, Tom. Let's get rid of all of that. Let's get rid of that. Any update on the fives cross? Not really. It's disappointing. That's my update so far. It's disappointing when you see something back test well and then not perform well. So I mean, this is it. I ran it today. This is what it came through. What came through it. I don't like the looks of the charts that it's coming through. They're garbage charts. I mean, this makes no sense whatsoever to me. This I think was just I don't want to. I don't want an alert of this one was. It was better. It didn't work out. Here's where the alert happened. Then it fell and then it recovered. So all the same, nothing special. A lot of work to go through it because once again, here's the back test of it. I changed. I put a range in 5 days filter in there. This is what it looks back testing. Hopefully, it doesn't take a month to back test. And it's going to back test well, or what I consider to be well. And I'll explain what I mean by well. And then after that, I got to peel out of here, everybody. It's almost done. Finishing optimizing, and completion. Thank you. The equity curve's okay. Nothing crazy. Nice projections, all this stuff. Profit factor 1.7. What I really look at is the daily, and you can see many more winning days than losing days, big winning days, and so on and so forth. When you back test, it will not show you the data that happened today. The back test starts yesterday because all the data has to get into our servers, compressed, and spit back out to you in this form. But I like all this stuff here, but it's also crappy days that it's testing against. It's a long scan. We haven't had long days. I mean, look at this, we gapped up to here that day and a fade and a fade and a fade and a gap up and a fade and a fade and a fade and a gap down and fade and a fade, or gap, really kind of a even open, but move down, garbage chop, gap up, fade, move back up. So, this is just, not conducive to a lot of scanning that's going on right now. So this is what I got going on right now. It's optimized a little nicer than it had been. You're welcome, Mike C. Thanks for popping in. You're welcome, Vin. You're welcome, Dan. Appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate the interaction. So that's the short and skinny on this now. I'm trying to get rid of stuff that looks like what's something. I don't want to alert something that looks like that. That's a garbage chart as far as I'm concerned. I've got my reasons for it. Like I said, I didn't look at everything that came through this. This ends up being okay at the end, but it didn't. But it didn't work out well because I had a 60-minute hold on this, and the 60-minute hold had passed here. There's no stop loss. It's a 60-minute load and a profit target. Thank you, Dan. Dan YYC. So, anyways, that's the short and skinny of that. If you want to know more about the scan, pop back here at 3:30 tomorrow, and I'll go over it again and all that good stuff like that. I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate you watching. Every day, 3:30 Eastern. I'm here doing this Monday through Friday. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get in here, get busy, ask questions, all those good things like that. Appreciate it all. Thank you all very much. And I will catch you on the flip side tomorrow. Take care. And